Alright, welcome to our next training video. This one is going to be covering our apartment databases, or I prefer to call them just our MLSs. It's pretty much what it is for us. So there are two different MLSs or databases we are going to be using. The first is apartmentdata.com. The other is smartapartmentdata.com. Alright, you're going to want to take advantage of both of these, but the one everyone needs to get and must get is apartmentdata.com. This one is free. It's not going to cost you anything. So we're going to go over this one first. Then we're going to go over to how to sign up for apartment data. Then we'll go over how to sign up for smart apartment data. Then we're going to kind of go through each one, kind of do a couple searches, kind of show you and get you a little more familiar with each one of these. Alright, to get started with this, what we'll do is make sure you're on the home page for apartmentdata.com. Then you're going to scroll to the bottom of the page. Click on Locators/Agents. Learn more. Then you'll just fill out this form. Make sure you click on Application Form. You'll fill all this out and save it. Fill out your first name, last name, all this information, license number. You'll click on Locator Extra. Locator Extra is an email you'll get from them, and it will show you up-to-date pricing and new specials that apartments are running. And also click on Search Engine. Just make up a number for number of leases. It doesn't really matter. And then I will display the company information on here so that you can just kind of copy it from here and put it on your application. Once you're done filling that out, then you'll fill this out again. Put your name, Texas Apartment Experts, email, phone number, and then your area. You don't have to put a message or anything like that. Then make sure you choose your file, click I'm not a robot, and send. This will take a couple of hours for them to register you and get you all set up. Depending on how busy they are, if you send it in the morning, normally they'll get you it, within 2 hours. If you send it a little bit later in the day, it might take to like 5 o'clock, or it may be to like the next day that they actually get to you. Alright, next let's go to Smart Apartment Data. You'll be on their home page. Click Try It Free. This will give you 1 week free. Then you'll put in your email address. Sign up for free. Then there should be an email. Click Activate. Then you'll just go through and enter all your information. First name, last name, password, organization. You'll be I am a real estate agent or apartment locator. You're interested in, you'll have to scroll down to Texas. Click your region. Now, unlike apartment data is going to let you have all the regions in Texas. Smart Apartment, you'll have to pay for each region. Depending on which plan you pick, they range about $40 per market a month. So then pick your market, and then you'll click Submit, and then you'll be signed up. That's that simple. Let's start with Smart Apartment Data. First thing, Smart Apartment Data is going to ask for your TREC license number. They're going to ask one of two ways, either by this little chat box in the bottom right hand corner or by phone. If they do not get your TREC license number, they may lock you out. If this happens, that's no big deal. Just go to their homepage and contact them. They'll let you back in after doing that. Also, after 1 week, if you have not entered in a credit card, they will lock you out. Now it is your choice if you want to use Smart Apartment Data or not. If you want to use it, go to your account and click My Subscriptions and Payments. Enter in your credit card and pick a plan you want. The plans range about $40 a month depending on the term that you do. Alright, now we can get started. So we're going to be looking at a couple tabs. We're going to be looking at the most important tabs first, and then you can kind of play around with this on your own time. So first we're going to be looking at clients. All the clients you enter in will come here, and you can kind of sort them by whatever you want. So notice this is where it's checking for conflicts over here where it's green and red. Green means your client is all good. Red means someone else is working with that client. So if it's ever red, just click on it and you can enter in, see who it is. Now, if it's an agent with another property or another locating service, that's fine. You can go ahead and work with them. If it's an agent here at Texas Apartment Experts, go ahead and notify that agent before continuing to work with them. Alright, the next tab we're going to be looking at is search. First thing, if you're wanting to do like a quick lookup, like say you're looking for a specific property, or you get a call and you're wanting to look up the ID number, just click on quick lookup. You can either enter the property's name, or you can enter in the ID number and just hit enter. You'll not worry about web leads, you'll not worry about get paid. Sent list you can use, but you can also get through it through your clients, and results isn't until you're actually working with the client. Alright, so say now you have a client and you're wanting to get started. You'll click new client. You'll enter their first name, last name, email, and phone number. Since right now we're just practicing, we're going to hit no client, just looking. First thing you can do is enter in the area. Now there's a couple different ways you can do this. My personal preference, because I know the areas pretty well, is I like to draw the areas. So right now, we're going to be looking for a 1-bedroom over in Westheimer, Galleria area for around 900 bucks. So what we're going to do is we're going to click this weird little shape. It says draw a shape. And we're just going to click exactly where we want to drop a pin, and then we're going to draw like a square or a circle or something and enclose the area we're wanting to search. Okay, so make sure you always move your area out a little bit just to get a few blocks over. Whatever you put into the database, it's going to pull up exactly that. Okay, then hit continue. Okay, that's one way to do it. You can also narrow by area or address. You can just click on which areas you want. Now it's going to be very precise, so if an area is, or if a property is 1 block out of that area, then it will not pull up. You can also do it by street, county, key map. Area is also one you really want to take advantage of, though. That and drawing it is what you'll mainly use. Okay, you can also do so then we're going to enter in our price range, which is $900 for a 1-bedroom. Alright, so now the average person actually spends $75 more on rent than they plan to. So depending on their budget and their income, you always want to up their rent some. So this person, I'm going to up the rent 50 bucks, which is the norm. Okay. So now if they don't say, they're looking for $1,000, they're looking to pay $1,000 in rent and they make $3,000 a month, then you can't really up their rent that much, only do 25 bucks. But say, they're looking for $900 and they make $3,000, and then you can up their rent, 50 bucks, 100 bucks. Okay. You don't want to put a minimum in there unless you're looking for more luxury properties. If your client gives you something specific, like they're looking for a 1-bedroom, they're not interested in studios or 2 bedrooms, make sure you put 1 to 1. If you just have this first one in here and do not have the second one, it's going to be searching for 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, and 4 bedrooms. If you just have the 1 or 0 to 1, then you'll be searching studios and 1 bedrooms. Okay. So now this client isn't that picky. We're just going to kind of go over a few things. If your client has a pet, this is where you can put in the pet information. Washer and dryer connections or supplied, stackable or full size is over here. And any other amenities, I'll let you look around for this on your own time. We are going to say that our client does have a broken lease. So we would go to policies. Right here it has all their rental criteria. So we are going to click on broken lease. This also has felony, misdemeanor, eviction, bankruptcy, foreclosure, no credit check, no rent history check, and move-in specials are also down here at the bottom. We also have senior living, corporate living, or student housing. If someone wants any bills paid, they can click on this. Now be careful about doing this as not too many properties are all bills paid. Then special income requirements, Section 8, which we don't really work with, but sometimes we can put in, looking for 2 times the rent or 2.5 times the rent. Also, you can search according to school district. Also, managements. This is very important as sometimes you'll be looking for a specific management. So all you would do is just type in the management name and then click on them. Then it's going to be searching for the management. We're going to take that off for now as we don't want to limit our options. Okay, so now we have the area in here. We have it drawn. We have our price range in here, our number of bedrooms, 1 bedrooms, 1 to 1. Then we also have our broken lease in here as well. Now we can click Run Search. Alright, so these are all the properties that met that criteria. So what we're looking at first, so we got the name of the property right here. Then we have the phone number, any specials that property is running. Now sometimes these specials can be out of date, so if you have someone specifically looking for specials, make sure you contact the property. This is the submarket, year built, renovated, number of bedrooms, price range and square footage, and the commission they pay. So this one is 100% for send, 100% for escort. And you can see some of them, I'm sure this is an error right here, because usually if they pay 100% for sending, they do the same for escort. Now sometimes I'm going to see if I can find one on here. Okay, sometimes you'll get one that's like escort only, so just pay attention that they pay a fee for sending, unless you do plan on escorting that client. So how Smart organizes the property is by how much they pay. So it's going to start at 100, then as you go to the bottom, you'll start to notice it gets less, so now we're in the 50s, and then you keep going down, it'll keep going lower and lower until you get to 0%. But they do pay a bonus, and sometimes bonuses are just as good. We've gotten, $3,000 bonuses before, but unfortunately, most of the time, bonuses are pretty small. So we try to leave these off as much as possible. Try not to do these. Here's an example of one that's escort only. But sometimes you can see, $750 is a decent amount. But these $200 flat fees, we don't really try to mess with those. If our client happens to go there, that's fine, but we try not to send those properties. But like a $750 is totally worth it, even $500. Alright, and then at the top, if you wanted to add another property, you could. You could also view it according to the map. So this is all the properties in that area, but we're going to go back to the grid. Okay, now we're going to go deeper into the property. So when we're sending a list, we want to filter through each one. So this particular person, well actually here I'll go through this first. So the name of the property, the website is normally right here. This one doesn't have one. Let's see, this one has one, so we'll use this one. So you can click on the website and it'll bring you to the property's website. This is also the address. You can click on this and it'll bring up the map. Then we have phone number and fax. This is their rental criteria, all right in here. This is their pet policies. And this is compensation and management, very important. So they pay 100% on 12-month leases only. Either send or escort. They pay in 30 days. Kind of always pay attention to this. It's not always accurate. But if you see some, you want to leave out the ones that say like, 120 days, 180 days. 90 days is not that big of a deal. 90 days is kind of the norm. So 30 days is actually really good. Then you also want to pay attention to the compensation notes. Now approved locators, that's just fine. But sometimes they will say you have to register your client through various things. It could be LRN. It's lrnusa.com is a way you can register your clients. It's not really a thing anymore. I would say there's only a handful of apartments in Houston using it. Dallas doesn't use it. Dallas uses Apartment Register, which if you start using Dallas more frequently, you'll want to register through Apartment Register. But if you ever have any questions, you can always contact the property to make sure you know that your client is being taken care of and that you registered them properly. So then down here we have the management. This is incredibly important to learn, is the management. Vinger Companies, for example, is one we really like. We refer a lot of people to them. 9900 is actually one of our most popular leases. And then over here we have the move-in specials. So you have 1 month free on select units right now. We can check out the pictures. Now I will say that's one of the weaknesses to this database is the pictures. They take their own pictures and they're not that good. So I would recommend telling the client to you can get an idea from the pictures, but if you really want to see better pictures, go to the property's website. I would recommend clicking on the actual picture itself. If you click on full size album, it makes a whole new tab, which is kind of annoying. Alright, up here is the listing number. So whenever you're wanting to post an ad on Craigslist and you're wanting to put a listing number there, this is where you would get it. Also say you were on this page and you got a call and you need to look up the ID number. You can just input whatever ID number you want to and then you'd hit go. Whoop. Okay. Then go to floor plans. And you can kind of see all their floor plans that they have. This is washer and dryer connections. Looks like they only have full-size washer and dryer connections on their 3 bedrooms. Any amenities? Nearby properties, which is useful because a lot of the times, if someone goes to this property, they'll also go to these other properties. Now, agent reviews is very, very important. Very important. You can see them up here. This one has 5 stars. If you see a property that has 1 star, go check it out. See why it has 1 star, especially starting out, because there are certain properties that are either really slow about paying or they just don't pay at all. So be very careful, sending properties. Just because they say they pay doesn't mean they pay in a timely manner or even at all. So just kind of check this. Most properties are fine, but you always want to be sure. Okay, so now what we do is we kind of go through, so now we're kind of looking for our client, we're ready to start putting a list together. So the biggest thing is the rental criteria first. So we're going to look at the broken lease. So it says case by case, must be paid in full. Alright, so we're going to pretend that this current client, he still has an outstanding balance on it, so he won't actually, they won't actually accept it according to the database. Now, this is where having knowledge really comes in handy, is because this property will actually accept it. You just have to know the leasing agents at the property. So, more experienced agents know to go ahead and send there, they will take them. That's why it's always good to call the properties. So this first method of sending lists that we're going to look at is really good for new agents. You don't want to stick with it too long because it is very time consuming, but the reason it's good is because you can learn your product a lot quicker. So really what you're going to do is you're going to call about 90% of these apartments and just ask them, would they accept my broken lease? We'll pretend my broken lease is 5 years old and I have a balance on it. We'll also say that I have good rental history. So you would call the apartment and tell them that. Then if they say, no, we wouldn't work with it, just move on to the next apartment. If they say, we will work with it, then see what they have available, what floor plans they have available, and then you can add them to your list. How you add properties to your list, you can click this and it's adding to your list, or you can add to my list this way. Now, once you've called the properties a couple times, you're starting to get a little bit familiar with them. Your business is picking up. You're a little more busy now. You're working with about, 5 to 10 clients a day. Then what you want to kind of do is you'll send a listing of what's kind of meets their criteria, what's a little bit nicer, kind of what they're looking for. So since this person is, looking in the Galleria area, they're wanting to pay, around $900. We're assuming they're looking for something a little bit nicer, not something so old. So we're going to kind of keep out, the bad properties, the properties that kind of run down, a little bit cheaper properties. We'll keep those off. We'll also keep off the properties that, don't pay us that much, and the properties we just kind of know that aren't good. So we'll kind of go through them one by one very quickly. So first thing we're going to do is look at the rental criteria. They'll work with it. Good rental criteria. Good rental after the broken lease. I have rental after the broken lease, so they'll work there. Next thing you want to do, look at the pictures real quick, just get a general idea. Outside doesn't look great, honestly. They have 3 stars. Let's go see why they have 3 stars. Pay super quick. Okay, that's really good. Call the property. That's not terrible. That's not great though at all. Also, see how old they are. Sometimes they're really old. Like 17 is pretty recent still, but sometimes you'll have some on there from like 13, 10. Don't really ignore those because a lot of times the properties have changed management. So this one, they'll work with a broken lease. The pictures didn't look too nice, and they're kind of cheap. So we're going to move on to the next one. So we're back at 9,900. They'll work with a broken lease. They're just saying it must be paid in full. So now we'll check the pictures, and then we already kind of looked through them once. They look decent. Let's go check the pricing real quick. So they're kind of in the price range. At the upper end for sure, but they're within the price range. And then that's good. So then we'd go on to the next. So we actually like this one, so we'll add this one to our list. So we go on to the next. So it's case by case, so that's fine. Looking at it, and it's an older property. No. Alright, so we're on to the next one. This one again is case by case. They're on a point system. They assign values to certain points, so good credit could be, plus a point, good income plus a point, broken lease minus 2 points, something like that. So they'll work with the broken lease. We'll look at pictures. Okay. Well, they look pretty good inside. They're not the newest, but they look pretty good. So we'll check pricing, good pricing, and check the area. No, I like it. So we're going to add this one to the list. So this is pretty much what you'll be doing. You'll kind of go one by one through the properties and just add them to your list. And then once you're done, so I'm just going to kind of throw some on here. So I'm going to throw these on here. So we're going to pretend that we've gone through everything now and that these are the only properties that met your client's criteria. So what we would do now is email list. Okay. And then a really cool thing you can do is kind of go in here and change and manipulate all the information to make it correct. So now we can add a comment, we'll work with a broken lease 1 year old. We'll work with whatever. You can take off floor plans that don't match their criteria. You can change the pricing to whatever you want. You can say, available Feb 19th. Whatever they tell you, you can say when it's available, and then you can go down and do it for each one of those. You can also add and remove properties. Then once you're done kind of changing all the information, you can hit save and finish. So something you'll want to do on your first one to save you a lot of time is you'll want to make a template. So you can go in here and then title the template. You can just title it TAE. And then you can kind of put whatever you want in here. I'll kind of show you an example in just a moment, but you can put whatever you want in here, change it, have fun with it. Just make sure you get your point across effectively. I would tell them, make sure to put you down in the application as a referral source again. So go back. Here is my template. That's one of them. Let's see, I think we also have another one. Yeah. So there's a couple different ways you can do it. I mean, you can do it really any way. This is kind of just very simple and straight to the point. They're not going to be looking at this too much. And then just click on the property report to view the properties. Okay. And then normally your client's email will autofill right here. You can just put in the subject. Subject will be apartment listing. Okay. and then we want to register a client. It'll automatically check for you if it applies, and then we can send listing. Alright, so what I want you to do while you're doing your practice listings is email your first practice listing to yourself so you can see exactly what your clients are seeing. Cool thing that it does is with both of the databases, whenever your client opens up the listing, it's going to send you a notification saying this person has just opened up their listing, so you know who's getting the listings, who's opening them, who's not getting them and opening them. So do that, send a practice listing, because what your client sees is actually very different between the two databases. So we can go over to ADS now, or apartment data, and this is the main menu. Once you log in, this is what you're going to come to. This is all your clients. So what we're going to do, we're going to add and register a client right now. We're going to say Bob Joe. Can't think of a better name. We'll do submit and check for conflicts. Up here it will show all the conflicts that they've had for the past 90 days. So this one doesn't have any conflicts, it's a fake person. Then you can pick your areas right here: Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Austin. We'll keep it as Houston for now. You can title the listing if you'd like. Then we can do create listing. For the most part, you'll use search tools. You can do according to certain commission amounts. I would pretty much always leave it as any amount though. Okay, and then a couple of tools that you'll be using that are a little bit different, like the management company is over here. The IDs are over here. So just type it in, hit enter. Name, if you want to look up a specific property, you can click on here or just enter it in. You can draw the map here, areas, zip codes, schools, region. It's all kind of in here. Just organized a little bit differently. I feel like this one, I mean, it's free, you get what you pay for type, but it works. It does its job. So we'll put in the bedrooms first. 1 bedroom. Max is $950 or $900, but we're upping at $50, so $950. We're going to go ahead and draw the area on this one. So the difference between the two databases is this one, you're just going to click on where you want it. It's automatically going to make you a little diamond. The other one, you're dropping specific points. So we'll move this one and change it. Okay. And then so on the left hand side you have your amenities like washer and dryer connections, washer and dryer machine in the unit, walk-in closet, whatever it may be. And then if you scroll all the way to the pink, you'll get to their rental criteria. So this is offering specials, but we're looking for broken lease. So found broken lease. Now we'll search. Alright, so this is how it's going to pull up. How you're going to add properties is just this little box right here. Whenever you want to add a property, you'll just click it, and it'll be added to your favorites. Then to view your favorites, you'll just click on that. Then you can do email complete listing. Email complete listing will have names of the property and their address. Email a prospect listing will not have the name or will not have the address on it. So then once you're ready to do that, you'll hit email complete listing. The person's email will automatically show up. You can change your listings over here. They have certain things. This is just, again, one that I use. You can kind of change it to whatever you want, and then you just hit send listing. That's all it really is. It's pretty simple. So do the same thing as you did with Smart. Send a listing through ADS as well. See the difference. Now just kind of take the time. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't cover. I was trying to hit the main key points. There's a lot of little things. If I did cover, the video would just be too long. So get used to it, familiarize yourself with it. If you have any questions, ask another agent or ask me. I'd be happy to help you. So next video we'll be covering actually making a Craigslist post. I'll see you there.